All right, so welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going super deep, and I mean deep into some pretty fascinating material.
Oh yeah, this is a good one.
So we've got this YouTube video
It's entirely in Arabic.
entirely in Arabic, and it's all about how to build a successful career in tech. Now, I don't speak
Me
Arabic,
either.
but the cool thing is,
You don't really need
yeah,
to get some pretty awesome insights from this video.
exactly, and that's what we're going to do today.
Yeah,
It's kind of like we're tech archaeologists, right?
I like that.
Digging through this video, uncovering these hidden gems of career wisdom.
I love it. And the video really focuses on how much the tech world has changed. You know, like it uses 2010 as this sort of turning point.
Right, like before and after.
Exactly.
Ah.
And it makes you think, right, how far we've come and how quickly things are still evolving.
Yeah, it's really mind-blowing when you stop and think about it.
For sure. I mean, think about it. What were
Oh.
you doing in 2010?
Oh gosh, I don't even want to remember. Probably rocking a BlackBerry and thinking I was super cool.
Probably. But seriously, that's only, what, 15 years ago? And the tech landscape looks completely different now.
Oh, absolutely. So let's rewind a bit, back to that pre-2010 world. We all know that things like cloud computing and virtualization were around back then, but they weren't exactly mainstream.
Right. It's like the internet itself in the early 90s. Everyone knew it was cool, but no one was ordering pizza online yet.
Perfect analogy. So what was it like back then in the tech world? What should we keep in mind as we dig into this video?
Well, I think the biggest thing is that the potential was there. Like with the cloud, it was simmering under the surface, just waiting to explode.
Yeah.
But nobody knew when or how.
So true. It's like all the pieces were in place, but the puzzle hadn't quite come together yet.
Exactly. And, the video uses a really cool example, the Alta Vista search engine. Remember that?
Oh, yeah, of course. That was like the Google before Google, right?
Pretty much. And it was a cutting edge for its time, especially in how it handled all that data. I mean, think about it searching the entire internet back then. That was a huge amount of data to process. It's almost like a sneak peek into the massive data challenges we face today.
Wow, yeah, you're right. Those Alta Vista engineers, they were wrestling with big data before it was even a buzzword.
Exactly. Which really highlights how fast technology moves, right? What's niche today could be essential tomorrow. And that's a key takeaway for anyone thinking about their career in tech.
Yeah, for sure. And this is where the video gets super interesting. It talks about this massive shift in how software was developed, from the old school waterfall method to this new agile way of doing things.
Yeah, the waterfall versus agile debate. That was a big one.
Huge. I mean, think back to those massive software projects that took years to complete. The video even makes a joke about developers, well, let's just say expressing their frustration
Yeah.
when clients change their minds after months of work.
Uh-huh. Yeah, I get it. It's because those traditional waterfall projects were so rigid, like trying to build a house without being able to change the blueprints once you'd started.
Right. No room for adjustments. So Agile comes along, and it's all about adapting on the fly, delivering software faster, and constantly iterating and improving.
Yeah, it was a huge shift in mindset, and it had a major impact on how teams worked and the tools they needed.
And you can't talk about Agile without mentioning version control systems like Git. Suddenly, developers could collaborate without wanting to, well.
Yeah, without tearing their hair out.
Uh,
Imagine trying to manage code from a team of 100 developers without Git. It would be chaos.
Total chaos. It was a total game changer for collaboration. And then, of course, we have to talk about the big one, cloud computing. I remember when that term first started floating around, I was totally lost.
I feel you. I was like, the cloud. What cloud? Is it going to rain data on me?
Aha, exactly. But the video uses this analogy of the electricity grid. You don't need to understand how electricity works to use it. You just flip a switch and it's there.
Yeah. And that's still a great analogy for the cloud today, right? You don't need to know all the technical details of how it works. You just use the services you need.
Exactly. But the video does point out that some pretty fundamental changes had to happen behind the scenes to make cloud computing a reality.
Oh, absolutely. We're talking massive shifts in how we think about hardware and software.
Mm.
Like, think about it. Before the cloud, if a company wanted to run an application, they needed to buy their own servers, their own storage, all that stuff.
It was a huge investment.
Huge. And then they had to manage it all themselves, keep it up and running, make sure it was secure.
It was a whole different world.
Totally. And then VMware comes along with their virtualization technology.
Yeah.
And suddenly, you don't need a separate physical server for every application. You can run multiple virtual servers on a single physical machine.
That must have been a major breakthrough.
Oh, it was huge, and it paved the way for the cloud as we know it today. I mean, think about it. Cloud providers like AWS and Azure, they have these massive data centers with thousands of servers, right? But they can divide those servers up into all these virtual machines and rent them out to different companies.
So it's all about efficiency and cost savings.
Exactly.
Yeah.
And flexibility. Companies could suddenly spin up new servers in minutes instead of weeks. They didn't have to worry about buying and managing all that hardware. It was a game changer. And you know what's really cool?
Right.
The video actually mentions this little detail. One of the early employees at VMware was an Egyptian doctor.
Wow, really?
Yeah, it just highlights how tech can pull in people from all walks of life. It really is a global field with opportunities for everyone.
That's a fantastic story. Okay, so we've got cloud computing taking off, agile development changing the game, and all these new technologies emerging. Where does that leave the more traditional IT roles like networking?
Yeah, good point. That's where things get even more interesting. Network engineers couldn't just keep doing things the old way. They had to adapt to this new world of virtual servers and cloud infrastructure.
So what kind of skills did they need to learn? Was it a complete overhaul?
Well, the video really emphasizes automation and scripting as being crucial. I mean, think about it, manually configuring thousands of virtual servers is just not feasible. Network engineers had to learn how to write code, especially in languages like Python, to automate all those tasks and manage this increasingly complex world.
So even if you weren't a software developer, having at least some coding skills was becoming essential.
Oh, absolutely.
Yeah.
And this is also where we see the rise of something called software-defined networking, or SDN. It's a pretty complex topic, but in essence, it's about separating the control of the network from the physical hardware.
Okay, so instead of having to physically configure every router and switch, you could write code to control the entire network, right?
That sounds incredibly powerful, but also really complicated. It was a huge shift, for sure. But SDN was essential for companies to keep up with the rapid changes brought on by the cloud. They needed to be able to spin up new networks on demand and manage them efficiently.
And SDN made that possible.
Exactly. It was a whole new way of thinking about networking. And that's just one example of how the pre-2010 tech world was laying the groundwork for the incredible innovations we see today. But I think we'll save that for the next part of our deep dive.
Ooh, good call. We've already covered a ton of ground, from Alta Vista to Agile to the rise of the cloud. There's so much more to unpack in this video.
All right.
But for now, let's take a quick break, and we'll be back soon to continue our deep dive into this awesome Arabic YouTube video about building a successful career in tech. Stick around.
All right, welcome back to our deep dive into this fascinating Arabic YouTube video.
Yeah, I'm really loving this. We're finding all this amazing career advice hidden inside a video in a language we can't even understand.
It's like unlocking a secret treasure chest or something.
Totally. We're like tech Indiana Jones.
I like that.
But, you know, before the break, we were talking about how the tech world was changing so rapidly, even before 2010.
Yeah, all those big shifts,
Mhm.
cloud computing, agile development. It can feel like you're constantly playing catch-up.
Totally. But amidst all that change, the video emphasizes the importance of having a strong foundation, right? Like it talks about this generic roadmap for building a successful tech career.
Right, that roadmap, it's all about those core skills that are always going to be in demand, no matter how much the tech landscape shifts.
Yeah, those timeless skills. So what exactly is on this roadmap? What are those essential skills that the video highlights?
Well, it starts with system administration, and it stresses knowing both Windows and Linux.
Oh, yeah, those are like the two big operating systems, right?
Exactly. I mean, they're the foundation of pretty much every server and application out there.
So whether you're a developer, a data scientist, whatever, understanding these operating systems is crucial.
Absolutely. And it's
Mhm.
not just about, like, using them, right? It's about knowing how to manage them, troubleshoot problems, keep everything running smoothly.
So those are the real sysadmin skills.
Exactly. Being able to set up servers, configure networks, manage storage, all that stuff. And, of course, security is a huge part of it, too.
Makes sense. Everything's got to be secure these days.
Right. So those are the sysadmin skills.
Yeah.
But the video also talks a lot about networking fundamentals.
Oh, networking. That's a whole other world, isn't it?
It can be,
Yeah.
but, you know, everything's connected these days. So understanding how networks work is becoming more and more important for everyone in tech.
So what does the video say about networking? Like, what do we need to know?
Well, it talks about those basic concepts like IP addresses, routing protocols, network security, all that good stuff.
Yeah, those are the words I hear thrown around but never fully understand.
Uh-huh. Well, you don't have to be a network engineer to benefit from understanding these things. Even if you're a web developer, knowing a bit about networking can help you troubleshoot problems, like why is your website suddenly slow? Is it your code, the server, or the network itself?
It's like having that extra layer of knowledge that can help you in so many different situations.
Exactly. Okay, so we've got sysadmin skills, networking fundamentals. What else is on this roadmap?
Fill me in.
The video also talks about understanding servers and storage. The hardware that powers everything.
Right, like the physical servers, the hard drives, all that stuff. But with everything moving to the cloud, isn't that becoming less relevant?
Actually, it's kind of the opposite. Understanding how servers and storage work in the cloud is even more important these days.
How so?
Well, cloud providers offer all these different options, right? Different types of servers, different storage solutions. You need to understand the trade-offs. Like what's the best choice for your particular application?
That's true. It's not just a one-size-fits-all kind of thing anymore.
Right. You got to know what you're choosing and why.
Okay, so understanding servers and storage is still crucial. What else is on the list?
Well, security, of course. It's no surprise that the video really emphasizes security as a fundamental skill.
Yeah, it seems like every week there's another headline about a data breach or a hack. It's scary.
It is, and that's why everyone in tech needs to take security seriously.
Yeah.
The video talks about understanding those common security threats, knowing how to protect sensitive data,
Yeah.
and following best practices for secure coding and system configuration.
It's like a shared responsibility, right? Not just the security team's problem anymore.
Exactly. Everyone needs to do their part.
Okay, so we've got sysadmin, networking, servers and storage, security. It's quite a comprehensive list. But what about keeping up with the new stuff? All the hot new technologies that are always popping up.
Yeah, that's where scripting languages come in. And the video specifically mentions Python.
Python, yeah. I hear that one a lot.
It's super versatile. You can use it for web development, data analysis, machine learning, pretty much everything.
So even if you're not aiming to become a software developer, knowing a bit of Python can be super helpful.
Absolutely. It lets you automate tasks, analyze data, work more efficiently.
It's like having a secret weapon in your tech toolkit.
Totally. And it's not just about the technical skills, right? The video also talks about those all-important soft skills.
Ah, yes, the soft skills. I hear that term all the time, but I'm never quite sure what it means. Like, what are we talking about here?
Well, things like communication, teamwork, problem solving,
Yeah.
those interpersonal skills that help you work effectively with others.
So it's not just about being a tech whiz. You also need to be able to, communicate your ideas, work collaboratively, solve problems as a team.
Exactly. And that's becoming even more important as technology gets more complex and projects involve more and more people.
So it's not just about what you know, but also how you work.
Absolutely. Those soft skills are what differentiate a good tech professional from a great one.
This roadmap is starting to feel pretty well-rounded.
It is. It's about building a solid foundation of technical and soft skills that will set you up for success no matter what direction your tech career takes you.
So it's not about chasing the latest trends, but about developing that core set of skills that can be adapted to different roles and technologies.
Exactly. And as we'll see in the next part of our deep dive, that adaptability is key to not just surviving, but thriving in the tech world.
All right, so welcome back to the final part of our deep dive into this awesome Arabic YouTube video about building a successful career in tech.
It really is amazing how much we've been able to get out of this video, even without speaking the language.
Yeah, right. It's like we've uncovered this hidden treasure trove of career wisdom.
Exactly. And, one thing that's really stood out to me throughout this whole video is this emphasis on adaptability.
Oh, yeah. Adaptability. That's a big one for sure.
It's huge. I mean, think about it. The tech world is constantly changing, evolving at an incredible pace. If you're not able to adapt it, you're going to get left behind.
Yeah, it's like trying to sail a boat in a hurricane.
Exactly. You need to be able to adjust your sails, navigate the rough waters, otherwise you're going to sink.
So true. But how do we actually cultivate that adaptability? It's easy to say be adaptable, but what does that actually look like in the real world?
Well, the video offers some really practical advice. For one thing, it encourages us to stay curious. Don't just get stuck in your little niche,
Right. Don't get too comfortable.
Exactly. Explore new technologies, read industry blogs and articles, go to conferences, that sort of thing.
So it's like being a lifelong student of tech.
Yeah, exactly. The tech world is your classroom,
Yeah.
and there are always new lessons to be learned.
So true. And the more you expose yourself to those new ideas and approaches, the better equipped you'll be to adapt to new situations.
Absolutely. The video also talks about the importance of experimentation. Don't be afraid to try new things, even if you're not sure you'll succeed.
That's a good one. Sometimes it feels like there's so much pressure to be perfect, you know?
I know, right? But that can really stifle creativity and innovation.
Yeah, for sure. It's like you got to be willing to fail fast and learn from those failures.
Exactly. Think of it like building a prototype. You're not going to get it right on the first try, but each iteration teaches you something valuable.
Makes sense. It's about embracing that iterative process, just like with agile development.
Right, and that ties back to adaptability. Being willing to experiment, to pivot, to adjust your course based on what you learn.
Okay, so we've got curiosity and experimentation. What else does the video suggest for building adaptability?
Well, it also talks a lot about networking. And I don't just mean computer networks here.
Ah, yes, networking with people.
Exactly. Get out there, go to industry events, join online communities, connect with people you admire.
It's about building those relationships.
Absolutely, because you never know where those connections might lead. You might meet someone who inspires you to explore a new field or who introduces you to a job opportunity you never even knew existed.
And those connections can also provide you with support and guidance as you navigate your career.
It's like having a network of mentors and advisors.
So true. And it all goes back to that idea of adaptability, right? Being open to new possibilities, being willing to step outside your comfort zone.
Exactly. The video really emphasizes that careers are no longer linear. It's not about climbing a predefined ladder anymore.
Yeah, it's more like navigating a jungle gym.
I like that. Climbing and exploring, finding your own unique path.
And sometimes those unexpected detours lead to the most amazing discoveries.
Couldn't agree more. And, that brings us back to the heart of this deep dive. By understanding the history of tech, by recognizing those patterns of change and innovation, we can actually get better at predicting, or at least anticipating, the future.
Right. It's like having a roadmap, but it's not a fixed route. It's more like a compass that guides you in the right direction.
Perfect analogy.
Yeah.
And with that compass in hand, you can confidently navigate the ever-changing landscape of the tech world.
Wow, we've really uncovered some incredible insights from this Arabic YouTube video.
I know, right? It's a testament to the power of curiosity and a reminder that valuable knowledge can be found in the most unexpected places.
So true. And as we wrap up this deep dive, I think the biggest takeaway for me is this. Adaptability is key. If you want to thrive in the world of tech, you need to be a lifelong learner. Embrace experimentation and be open to new possibilities.
Couldn't have said it better myself.
Yeah.
And never underestimate the power of human connection. Build those relationships, learn from others, and support each other along the way.
It's a journey we're all on together. So thank you for joining us on this deep dive. We hope you found it as enlightening and inspiring as we did. And until next time, keep exploring, keep learning, and keep diving deep into the fascinating world of tech.